Ow. It is Twitch, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Just need to try and get this thing up. I thought Right, here we go.
Neb Racing is now live. Streaming F1 2021, Own Hub Racing Season 20 Podium Tire, R1, ERT Suzuka, Japan.
Okay, is it mandatory? Is it a thing where it's good to have the whole, because this is something that someone didn't tell me, and I didn't ask because I didn't think it would be an issue. The auto speech, I just heard that come out through my ear.
Dry to wet race.
Because Gazzaman just put a comment in the Twitch chat saying dry to wet race. I just heard that come out my ear.
Right, I've never had that before.
So, okay, that's confusing. So why is that all of a sudden just turned on? Why is the comment speech just turned on? Why is it doing that? The what? He did, but at the moment that's not even my concern. Display message. Oh, comment speech. Is that normally on? Yeah, we can hear it too. We'll be in the settings. Yeah, I wasn't told whether that was on or off, but for some reason that's been on. For some reason that's been on. I don't know why that's on.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I got rid of it. I've just taken it off now. There's a Williams who's about to start his first flying lap. He's just come to the final corner now. Is it even a Williams?
it is indeed. It's Liam.
That's a Red Bull.
Oh.
Oh, wait, never mind. There's two of them. Sorry. Never mind, there's two of them.
Yeah, Liam's just started his lap, but he's on mediums for his first run, which, by the looks of it, quite a lot of people are. And Liam has spun around into the wall, and he's nearly out of qualifying already, but he's lost his front wing straight into the wall.
Very strange how the car kind of just snapped on in there, but not the best thing. Alright, Liam in the Red Bull is next up behind him. There was a Haas that was behind Liam in the Williams. Okay,
yeah,
we're literally gonna have
Thomas. Yeah.
Okay, so Liam has invalidated his lap. Okay. We're gonna have to kinda, what's the word I'm looking for? Actually, no, never mind. So, because there's two people with the same name, one of them would just literally... gonna have to be the whole thing of calling it Liam 1 and then Liam, but I don't know if you want to go with Liam 1 or Liam 2 or however you'd like to do it.
Well, we can go Liam 1-3 for Rebel Drivers, that's his name, and for the other Liam.
Liam J?
Because I know. Well, I could say Scottish Liam if you want, because I know he is Scottish. I've spoken to him a few times. Actually,
I have no idea. Liam 1, Liam 1, 2, and Liam 1, 3. Okay, Liam, that could work. Liam 12, right, okay. So you want Liam 12 and Liam 1, 3. Any of those really could work, to be fair. Anyways, is there anything that you wanted to say?
Well, I mean, we're just getting first laps in qualifying. Obviously, brand new season. Some names that I am reasonably familiar with because I did race in the Podium tier a season or two ago. So there is a couple of names that I'm aware of and that I've raced against before. What I'd say is quite unusual at this early stage of qualifying is a lot, like 2 of the top 3 have set their lap time on mediums, which you wouldn't perhaps expect. Some of the soft runners have already looked like they've got some ground to make up because the current quickest driver is Andreas and he's not on the softs.
That is true, but he's only quickest by a few thousandths. So there isn't much of a gap there.
There was the Haas as well that I just saw. I was on board with a different driver, but there was a Haas of Thomas Vieira, and I don't know what's happened to him, but he is minus a front wing. So he's obviously had some sort of issue.
Somewhere earlier in the lap, yes. Andres has retired.
Looks
unless
like he's
that's
crashed
him.
out the final
That's
corner.
what I was just about to ask. Unless that's him that's just crashed there.
Yeah, it looks like he's lost it at the final corner with where his car was. Yeah, a bit of an odd one, that. He obviously must have gone for a second lap on the mediums and has maybe lost it on traction coming out the final turn, but I wouldn't normally expect that to be the kind of place you'd lose it. Not in dry conditions anyway, so a bit of a strange one.
Well, the rear end always has a chance to snap on you whether it likes you or not, so you never know.
Who have we got on a lap? I was gonna say
Liam 12 is just starting his one.
Yeah, we saw his first attempt didn't end too well. Had some problems with opening sector. The curbs are lethal around the opening sector of the lap. It's so easy to lose it if you just take too much curb. And already he's ran a little bit wide through turn 2 because of that. And this is now coming up to that section of corners where he struggled at before. Another Haas getting out of the way there. And that must be Con Hoffner because Vieira was back in the pits. But he's got through sector 1 this time okay. Probably a little bit tentatively, but that's quite easy to do when you've had issues before.
Just need to build the confidence.
Yeah, and he's still on mediums as well, so maybe not going maximum attack just yet. But he'll be happy to know the lap usually gets a little bit easier from this point as he breaks into the hairpin, but he broke on the grass there, so I was a little bit surprised he managed to get that turned in still, but he did. And it's looking okay. Liam's a quick driver from knowing him from experience, but I would say he's prone to the odd error here and there, particularly when under pressure, but I wouldn't say that would be an issue here because it is the first race and essentially it's a clean slate for all the drivers. There's no pressure, not when it comes to a championship just yet. It's all about finding your feet and just trying to get off to a positive start. Oh, and that's way too much curb on the second apex of the chicane, and that's his lap time validated. It would have put him 9th with his lap time that he did, but yeah, way too much curb there, and a bit of a tough start to qualifying, you'd say, for Liam at the moment, because just hasn't been able to put a clean lap together, but we have got speed, I want to say Josh, that is, potentially, in the Mercedes, and he is on a lap on the soft, so this could be more towards the sort of pace we're looking for.
He's just coming around Spoon as it is now. There is a Haas in front of him. He might get some slipstream off it, but I don't think. No, he's not. He's not close enough for. I do forget that this track does have that odd glitch of putting a yellow flag around the whole track, minus sector 1 from time to time. And he's just invalidated his lap.
It's like a carbon copy of what we saw with Liam a minute ago. It's literally just way too much curb there, and the game's never going to let you get away with that one. Is Jonas on a lap? No, I think he just completed one. He went 5th. Liam, I think, might have gone for another one, but he's had another issue this time. And this time it's at the hairpin. Looks like he lost it on exits when the car round.
He did do that earlier. I did see that.
Whatever the issue seems to be, Liam just can't seem to get a lap together at the moment, and maybe he might come into the pits and put on some soft tyres, and wow, that's a bizarre other incident. He touched the grass again and has gone round and once more, so Liam's struggling a lot here in qualifying, and might want to put on some soft tyres, a bit more grip. Looks like he needs it at the moment.
Meanwhile, Liam won 3, coming around the final couple of corners to see what he can do on his set of soft tyres at the minute. He puts himself P5 with a 130.0. Anyone else coming across the line?
Keke just starting a lap. We've got... I was going to say we've got another spinner. Liam's now
Liam is out
of qualifying. Yeah, looks like that's through 130R by the looks of it. And
someone right in the middle of the track, actually. He's right in the middle of the track. I was just on board with Mason. He was right in the middle of the track.
Hopefully they remove his car as quickly as they can, but because that's not where you want a car to be at all. One driver who is sort of in the middle of his lap, and it looks pretty smooth going so far, is Apex Rogue in the Alfa Romeo, currently P10, but he's on another soft tyre lap. So I'll try to see if he can improve, but he's coming up to 130R section where I believe that Williams has now been cleared, thankfully. But looking pretty good so far. See how it compares to his previous lap time. He's 7/10 up on his previous lap through sector 2, so keeps this going. He's going to go right to the sharp end here and can finally somebody topple that Andreas lap time that we saw very early on mediums, because so far he's still quickest, but might not be for much longer. Apex Rogue up to the line. Oh, that is super close. Just 9 thousandths adrift. He goes onto the front row of the grid, but still no one can beat Andreas' lap time, and we already know that he's not going to beat it.
No,
yeah,
so
he
might pull a Sebastian Vettel, taking pole position from sitting in his garage.
Well, okay.
Max has done it.
Keke and Easty Max quickly put that theory to bed in like space of 5 seconds. That was crazy. Keke went quickest, but then Easty Max topped it by another 10. So the lap time's really starting to come in now, as we've got a McLaren that I think was just retired from in the pit lane by the looks of it, and that's MCFC, who has not done a lap. Who else have we got? I was going to say Dainstars towards the end of his lap, but he's not on a quick one. Kong Hoffner is on a lap on the mediums. The mediums hasn't been a bad tyre so far in qualifying, so I'm interested to see if this lap time is representative at all and can maybe put himself into the top 10, because starting on mediums does give you a few different strategy options. Oh, and Thomas Vieira went 3rd, but has then crashed out by the looks of it, round the first 3 corners.
Turn 3 from the looks of it, but I don't know how he's ended up there.
Well, I'm on board with Kong Hoffner, just about to find out how, but his teammates had his own issue, so won't actually see, well, might be able to see here.
Oh, yep, I just caught a glimpse of it in the corner.
Yeah, issues for each of the passes there. Fozzie Bear's gone for a spin as well around sector 2. It's obviously very early days in qualifying. Well, also got a few minutes to go in qualifying, but I would have to say so far this track's causing a lot of issues for a number of drivers. It is a tricky track to master, but I don't know, based on what we're seeing in qualifying, it could be a tough race for some of these guys, because So far, just not been able to. Wow. Well, as I say that, look at that lap time, a 1:28.7. That's pole position by nearly 7 tenths for Speed Josh. Where has that lap time come from? That's a huge margin.
At this point, I feel like it's commentator's curse. The minute we say something, or being particular, the minute we say something, someone goes and does the complete opposite.
Yeah, we should probably be negative on that basis, just so we see some incredible things. I just want to board with Fozzie Bear starting his lap and he's invalidated. So that didn't go to plan for him. We've only got 3 minutes left to qualifying, so if you are just starting a lap now and you invalidate, as Fozzie Bear has done, really, you're kind of caught in a bad place, because you're either just going to have to go for another lap, or you go into the pits and accept that your qualifying's done because you won't be able to get out for another run. So Fozzie Bear's really not in a good spot right now due to that, and only 15th. He won't be happy with that starting position. Let's see, I think we've got Yuri just starting a lap, potentially in the Mercedes. He's seen his teammate go comfortably quickest, so the Yuri, or White Racer as he's known, can maybe join his teammate on the front row. Tons of yellow flags.
Just on board with Ols, coming up to turn 1 now. He's just starting his lap on, I believe, a new set of tyres. Yeah, on a new set of tyres. Quite a few people coming out to do a lap on new set of soft tyres.
Yeah, a lot now taking mediums and trying to really go for it on Scott T. It's levels. Keep an eye on Salty Bear. He gained a couple of tenths for that on his previous best, so it's looking okay. His teammate's gone into the top 6, so Salty Bear looking to match him. A huge moment there, and so he did very well to the car under control. Will that cost him on the run towards 130R? We're still gaining a lot. Previous best, so we're going to put it pretty sharp and into the final chicane he goes. Careful not to turn too early and to the line. He was 13th. This is undoubtedly going to improve that. He goes 8th. Just misses out on getting into a 1:29. But they are a double top 10 start for the Alfa Romeos. They won't be too disappointed with that. And Yuri has retired from qualifying is over. Ols is the next one across the line.
P15 of 31.1. So he's only got one more chance to improve on that.
But it's on a lap, so he should be, and this is pretty decent here. So he hasn't done anything up now, but he just give his last as for third in a Ferrari. But I mean, he can only improve from his current starting position. What's going to do for him? Pretty good P6, not bad at all. To say he hadn't done a lap to now, that's supreme confidence to just go out there and put it in the top 10 with no lap under your belt. Checkered flag is out, but drivers can complete their laps if they're on one, and we've got a few drivers out there trying to improve, but 7 that we saw from Josh, it looks quite doubtful, to be honest, because that's a huge margin to make up. Commentators curse as I say that Joe goes second in the McLaren, and he's only a 10th and a half behind, so all second driver into the 1:28. So that's impressive stuff, and maybe the track conditions improving, maybe the track's getting out a little bit quicker. We may see some improvements right at the death here.
Well, I'm just on board with a Dane Star. He's just coming up to 130R now. I don't know. I think I saw his sector time was 1,000ths, but now I've just seen that he's 77 thousandths quicker on his lap now. So I think you might find more time here in the final sector. And let's see what he can put in. He moves... He stays P7. He's much closer to his teammate, though. Not that much, though. Fuzzy Bear is the only other person out on track, but he's out of fuel, I think.
Yeah, going very slowly, it looks like. There's no more fuel left in that, and that's everyone done their laps, and yeah, Josh on pole, Jonas in second. It's only 2 drivers that got into the 28, so some good improvements there at the end, but I don't know, there's a few drivers that look like they may be struggling slightly with the conditions. We don't know, of course, what the weather's going to be like for the race. We could potentially have some wet weather, you never know. It's not uncommon at the Japanese Grand Prix, that's for sure. But yeah, the front row are looking pretty close, and then you've got a bit of a gap back to Easty Mats, who did improve at the end, but not enough to improve in position. And Andreas still in the top 10, despite doing a lap time on mediums, which I think was only a couple of minutes into the session.
Alright then, so that is qualifying over. I've just seen someone say that we don't have TAS, that we don't have TAS, so not too bad. I don't know, never used it, so I don't know. But
yeah, TAS not working, unfortunately.
No, but as it stands, this is what the grid order is for the time, and we'll see what the strategies play out. If I'm right, we've got 1, 2, 3. I think I saw 4. No, just 3 people who. 3 people who are on the mediums. There is 1 person that's going to be starting on the instant that got into the top 10. I think the other 2, they tried their luck on mediums, they didn't get through to the top 10, so they can't start on them. But I think they'll probably use their fresh set, or they'll switch on to the softs. But I don't remember how long the softs tires last around here. Haven't driven this track in quite a while.
Tyre wear shouldn't hopefully be too much of a concern. Obviously, it is a mandatory 2-stop at one hub, so. But obviously, in that sense, you've still got to plan out your stints, try and potentially make an undercut or overcut work, depending on who you're racing. But I would suggest for most drivers, 2 stints on the softs, 1 stint on mediums. But some drivers may do 2 stints on the mediums. It really just depends on personal preference among drivers. But
what would
really
you do?
Me personally, I would probably do a soft, medium, soft strategy. Would probably be my way to go. I think the only reason I wouldn't start on mediums is just potentially if there's any damage you get at the first corner on the first lap. It kind of screws your strategy a little bit if you start on mediums and then get damage. So it's something you could do, but you do then have to be very careful at the first corner and the first sort of lap or 2 just to avoid any contact or damage.
True. No, that's fair. That's fair. As it stands, the only 4 people who are Oh, sorry. We've got 3, 5, 6 people who are on the mediums, and NSR has been disqualified, so he's probably run into the back of someone. That was pretty
Andreas.
early. So we've got. So we've got Andreas, we've got Trunders, we've got Konghofer, sorry. We have Ols, Fuzzy Bear, and Liam 12.
Yeah, all opted to start mediums. Of course, Andreas didn't have a choice in that one, with him being in the top 10, but the rest of them have opted. So they're quite a mix, really, outside the top 10, really, between... We've got 5 on the mediums, 4 on the softs, so a real variance in strategy here. Yeah, real variance in strategy going on, to be fair, and that should lead to a very interesting race, but as I said before, you just really want to take it careful then if you're on the mediums. You don't need to make huge gains at the start, because you can make those gains later on when you have the soft tyres on and others around you then have to switch to mediums. So yeah, just try and keep it out of trouble if you're near the back, and the race will hopefully come to you later. They're probably thinking of a long game with us towards the back. already towards the end of the outlap, and yeah, drivers try and make sure they got enough heat temperature into their tyres. In fact, only MCFC disqualified, so he will have issues with cold tyres and cold brakes at the start. He may just have to be careful at the first few corners, more so than everybody else. But yeah, we've got Mercedes and McLaren lining up on the front row of a grid, and their eyes will be firmly focused on turn 1 and trying to make sure that they're in the lead come the time they get there.
Right then, as we're about to get underway for the Japanese Grand Prix, we've got 1 lights, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out and away we go. Great start from Josh Speed there, followed by McLaren of Hosan, and followed straight from the back we've got a Red Bull that was close to the grass. No spinners so far. We've got Kong Hoffa, who's dropped down quite a few positions here. But does he have a front? He's missing his front wing end plate. That's definitely going to put a spanner in the works for him and his strategy. But from the looks of it, I think everyone so far has gotten... Ooh. Salty Bear also has damage to his front wing. Who's that falling further down the grid? Is that... It's Andreas.
Yeah, Andreas. Oh, Thomas has gone as well. He's lost it at the first Degner, by the looks of it.
I'm assuming that you're referring to Liam.
Oh, Liam as well. Yeah, there was Thomas as well, but yeah, it looks like Liam's had issues further down too. So there's a few drivers as the first lap's progressed that have got issues, and hopefully, I don't think many of them have got damage, thankfully, which is good at least. But at the front, it's as you were. But the big change in the first few cars is that Gazaman has got in front of Easty Matson up to third.
NSR in the McLaren in P10 has disconnected.
Yeah, so he'll be AI controlled, unfortunately.
Yeah, not the nicest thing.
No, and I don't know what's happened in the field, but you can see between 6th and 7th there's this 2-second gap.
Yeah, there's a pretty big gap, but it's the same. Oh, hello, Speed Race has made a move on Apex Rouge. Down into turn 1.
Move into turn 1. You don't usually see that before the DRS is activated, but he got a lovely run at the final corner, and that's a really nice move, and maybe he could start to close in that gap that's been created.
True. There's a pretty big... Oh, hello. Salty Bear is in the pits for a change of front wing, and he's on a set of soft tyres. I have a Haas stacking, so that's going to cause problems for them, for both of their drivers. Liam also in the pits for a front wing change, and he's gone to, I believe, the medium tyres. Yep. And Andreas has dropped off. Has he really? He has just dropped off the pack that he was just part of not too long ago, wasn't he?
Yeah, there was a brief yellow flag. It makes me wonder, was he the reason for it? Maybe just had a bit of an off, but looks like he's back underway soon. Already we've got a corner cutting 3-second penalty for Fozzie there, so that's not what you want so early on into the Grand Prix, because I think automatically as a driver you become more cautious.
And there's the yellow flag glitch.
Yeah, not what we want, unfortunately. We've got the top 6 all super close together, and Yuri just starting to plug away. Gaps have disappeared on my screen, which isn't terribly ideal.
I think we're going to see a few moves here into turn 1. Actually, maybe not.
Close. Yeah, Keke looks pretty close. But...
He won't make a move from here, it's too far back. Although, he could make it in the center, in the S's.
The driver here who could have some issues is Jonas in second place, because he's only just hanging on. It's hovering in that 1-second window, and if he loses RS to Josh in front, he's going to become vulnerable to those behind.
He will, but let's remember that there is only one DRS zone on this track, and it's not
Oh, we've got to move further down. Okeke on Easty Mats for 4. It must have been a mistake from Easty Mats there because he was right there with him.
Ooh, so, I'm hearing a bit of a lock-up there, but he's also just been overtaken by Danestar as well.
Let's try and see, is there any damage on that AlphaTauri that might be causing his issues? Not really getting a good camera angle.
No, there isn't. At least none that we can see.
No, maybe we don't know. We can get floor damage, of course, so maybe there's just something that's not quite right with the AlphaTauri at this stage. He's lost 2 positions in the space of a couple of corners, and he's it's not what he wants. I'm just wondering now, can Gazaman potentially put a fight on for second? Because Jonas just isn't able to keep with the race leader right now.
That is true, but NSR has come back, and he's right on the box of the AlphaTauri in front. But he has sized him up pretty well. That AlphaTauri is getting all kinds of out of shape there. Nonetheless, though, NSR is thinking about making a move, but I don't think he's going to dive him into turn 1, and he's not. He's just going to hold it out a little bit.
Oh, Andreas on the inside of Ols into turn 1. Lovely move from the Alpine driver, makes his stick up to 14th, and I don't know if you spotted that then as well, but he's just got the fastest lap of the race as well.
I did. So I just caught that at the glimpse of my eye.
There's a lot of pace now, Alpine. He just needs to make sure he can hook it up, but he's got some ground to make up, but really the pace is in that car and in him as a driver, so he could be one to watch out for if he can just keep it clean over the course of a race. Still a long way to go, of course.
Oh yeah, there's quite a long ways to go to the end of this Grand Prix. 27 laps we're in, and we're only on lap 4.
Absolutely. Josh's lead up to 2 seconds now, so he's really pulling the gap out front. And Gazaman looking a little bit closer this time around to Jonas, but he's also got to be careful because Okeke is looking pretty racy in that Aston Martin. He's already passed 1 car. Easty Mat's just falling off the back of this group a little bit. Just unable to quite keep up with them. Don't know if he's got damage that's to blame for that. But it'll be interesting here, can Jonas hold on to second? The good thing for him is Gazaman might have to do some defending behind him.
Jonas is in the pits.
That's quite an early stop, I would have to say. I think that's a bit of an early stop.
But is it for a front wing change? No, it's not for a front wing change, it's just tyres.
Yeah, Easty Mats is in as well. So a few drivers towards the front into the pits. And a fresh set of softs for Jonas. So he's got onto another set of softs, which leads me to believe he'll have to run quite a lengthy medium tyre stint at the end.
Or hard.
He's going to make
yellow flag in sector 2. That would be for Thomas.
I believe. Yep. It's not a good day for the Hassers so far. Both of them been to the pits for damage, and now one of them sadly facing the wrong way.
He's not. He's just sitting there.
Oh, that's a bit of a... Oh, yeah, that is a bit of an odd one.
He's
let Liam pass, but yeah, he's not moving, which is...
He's going to get disqualified for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe there's a controller or wheel that's disconnected. That's about the only thing I can think, but...
That is possible.
Hopefully he gets moving sooner rather than later.
Yeah, he's moving.
Yeah, he's moving now, which is good news, so he's avoided disqualification, but I tell you what here, Gazaman up to second courtesy of Jones's pit stop, but he might not be second for too long because
because he's got Keke and Danestar right behind him, and he's got no DRS to save him from in front. But Keke is being attacked by Danestar. Very, very close between all 3 drivers. But Keke's in the pits, so now Danestar is going to be released to chase after Gazaman. Yeah,
that's kind of saved Gazaman in effect now because Okeke was very slow out the final chicane because he was defending rather than attacking. So that's helped Gazaman keep hold of that second place. A lot of pit stops going on now with soft tyre runners wanting to get rid of those softs, particularly to favour the tyres they qualified on. And Jonas, as expected, stays in front of Okeke, obviously the undercut. Okeke and Estimats are going to be very close though, and Estimats had to go slightly wide there to avoid the Aston Martin coming out of the pits. Just shows though, because Estimats, if you remember, was a second or so behind Okeke, but just shows the strength of that undercut. He nearly got past him after the pit stops.
Very, very close, but oh, hello. Konghofer has just taken P16 from Salty Bear.
Nice move.
I think there was a little bit of wheel bang in there, but not enough to cause either car to lose control.
No, absolutely not. I'm just looking at position changes from the start. One driver whose progress has kind of gone under the radar is Liam, who started last, if you remember, 19th place. He's now 7th and looking like he's ready to take 6th place. But...
Yep, Danestar has overtaken Gazerman at 130R.
Lovely move. Fozzie Bear's had an issue. Looks like he's gone off around the second spoon curve. Just recovering to the track now, which is the reason for that yellow flag. Josh is in the pits. Danestar passed Gazerman, but he might be getting re-overtaken here. But no, Gazerman didn't really use his ERS down that straight, so it's like he didn't really want to make the overtake back. Maybe an acknowledgement that at this stage he's just not as quick as Danestar, and it might be more beneficial for him to just follow for a second, as Thomas does now get disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. So I wonder if he stops.
That's on the final corner. He was on the final corner when I saw it pop up.
Yeah, slightly bizarre races there, but in Liam, he has passed Trunders with all the other stop teams. I find myself running in P3, so we saw him have a bit of struggles in qualifying, but he's running a very decent race at the moment and is now the highest up of all those that started on mediums.
Just on board with Andreas, he's making a very good comeback from his super early pit stop that he made from front wing damage. I believe it was him, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. I know he started P9. I know he started P9, but I only remember that he did fall back a little bit.
Yeah, I think he had an issue. I think he might have had a spin, if I remember rightly, but thankfully he got away with it without damage. But then he fell off the back when he was trying to recover as well, so he's had a lot of dramas early on, but the pace is clearly there in the car. We've got another yellow flag that's now disappeared. I'm not quite sure the reason for that. But thankfully cleared very quickly, so no immediate problem. Trunder's right behind Liam, going into the chicane. Sorry, they're still fighting away for P3 as the top two, Gazerman and Danestar, are in the pits.
Yep, it's the lead, followed by Mason and Andreas. Andreas does have DRS, but he won't be close enough to make a move.
Trunders and Liam nearly going side by side into the first few corners, but Liam holds on to what is now the race lead. Obviously, pit stops and strategies are a little bit out of sync between the drivers at the moment, but he's the effective race leader. And we've got Andreas over the back of Mason Jr. as well, as Andreas looks to claw back more time. And Jonas set the fast lap of the race last time around, and is on the back of
Fozzie Bear has spun it on turn 4. Oh no, sorry, turn 5.
It's his second moment in the space of a couple of laps. He's not having a good time out there, and he's got to try and reverse it as well. Obviously, we know the steering angle of these cars when you try to turn them around is absolutely dreadful.
Yep, so, it's a bus. It's just like turning a bus doing a 3-point turn. It's just impossible.
Fozzie Bear will really be feeling that pain right about now, but he has got it back round as Andreas takes P3 from Mason Jr. And Mason Jr. might have more defending to do because he's got Josh right behind him. I don't think he'll really be able to defend against Josh. Josh's got much fresher tyres, and as we've seen, he's very, very quick.
Oh yes, he is. So I won't... Whoa, that was not good. Does he have damage from that though? I'll be amazed if he doesn't. Why did he slow down so much? There goes Mason. Why did he slow down so much?
Well, I'll tell you something, that's an amazing save from Josh, because that looked for all the world like that was going round on him.
But how did that not break his front wing is a better question.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be, I must be thinking he's got a cat, he must be thinking he's a cat or something, because he's used up all his 9 lives right there. And thankfully for him now, he can try and knuckle down, and hopefully there's no damage that's affecting him, even if there's any damage we can't see. As such, although I was about to say he's losing a bit of time to Andreas, which makes me worry. But it's not. We know Andreas isn't exactly slow either.
No, he's not. But we'll soon see.
But you can see the impact it's had on Josh's effective race lead that he had, because Jonas is now under 2 seconds away from him again. So things not looking quite as rosy as what they were a few laps ago. As I think there's been a change in position as well, as Okeke has passed Danestar.
I think Josh does have some damage because he's understeering quite a bit now.
Oh, that's a real bitter blow for him. I don't know if it's damage he'll be able to get repaired next time he stops, but he's going to feel it.
Most likely will.
We've got Okeke potentially going for a move into 130R.
Yeah,
of course.
We've got 4 cars battling for P6 at the minute. From Ols to Mats, about 4 cars.
Yeah, the problem they've got here is Ols is effectively running a different race. He hasn't stopped yet and just won't be as quick. Oh my goodness me, Okeke nearly into the back of him. Such was the difference in speed. Okeke and Daystar going to go side by side into turn 1. This is brave stuff. And it looks like Daystar's made that work fully to his advantage. He's got 2 positions in 1 there. That's really opportunistic and absolutely brilliant.
That's the power of the soft tyres for you.
Yeah, drivers wondering what to do. A lot of run mediums for their second stint, but you've got Danestar running the softs, looking to make the most of it, and that was really good stuff. And yeah, there's no doubt about it, Josh must have damage, because I think he's about to lose what is the effective race lead to Jonas here. He's just got no pace, and that collision with Mason could be costly for his race. He was looking in cruise control, and now it looks like he's going to be very much on the defensive until he can get into the pits and maybe get that damage repaired.
Mats is thinking about making a move here into Spoon on Ols. I think he's definitely going to have the momentum running into it, but he also will have DRS. But these 2 fighting, that's going to bring Gazaman into the fight between them. He is only 8/10 behind Mats and Ols. So
what's confusing me is that Gazaman and Danestar entered the pits together.
And there's a big gap between them.
Yeah, Gazaman's lost a lot of time for that pit stop phase. Maybe he had to change his wing or something, but
no, they came out they came out close behind each other. I do remember that.
Estimats has got past Ols, and also Jonas has overtaken Josh, so Jonas is now the effective race leader, obviously with the top 3 having yet to stop. And that one incident looks like it may cost Josh a potential win today.
Yeah, something that's also caught my eye is the weather.
Looking a lot more overcast than it was at the start, potentially.
Looks like typical British weather.
Would potentially explain why some drivers have run 2 soft tyre stints, and why particularly I believe it was Jonas who pitted very, very early at the start.
Well, if it rains later on, then wouldn't you want to just do the 1 or 2 long stints, just so you get to the rain period? Because then, if it does start raining, everyone has to change their tyres to the intermediates.
That's very true. It might be one of those where Jonas has taken a gamble, but the rain's going to come earlier than it perhaps is.
Fuzzy Bear in the pits for a set of medium tyres. I don't see why.
Speaking of Jonas, there's contact in the chicane between him and Trunders. Oh, and Trunders did not want to give that position up. And there was a lot of wheel banging there, but surely there's nothing he can do this time around with the DRS and the slipstream. Oh, Trunders is trying to hold him off. This is brave racing.
Oh, he's been clipped, but he managed to save it.
He managed to save it indeed, but look at this. This has brought Danestar and Okeke right back into play.
Oh, this is going to bring more people to play, and there's Liam. He was leading the race, so he's just had a spin.
Yeah, and there's damage on his front wing left end plate, I can see.
Oh, so he must have clipped the curb.
It's a real shame for Liam. I was saying earlier what a good race he was running, and I may have cursed him, unfortunately.
Commentator's curse once again.
We've got Danestar. Is he going to make a move down the inside of the hairpin? Yes, he is. On Josh. That's a lovely move. Josh trying to fight back. He might have damage.
Is okay. This is turning into a 6-car fight because he's coming back into play in this now. From everyone else in front of him, this is all coming back into play.
And this has all happened because Trunders is desperate not to lose position to these guys.
But he's about to right now, since Jonas is on the inside at 130R.
And has got him.
Yep. But is he gonna fight back? No.
Maybe
He
with
will
DRS.
have DRS though.
Oh,
But he needs to get closer.
Down. The only thing that DRS might do is help him defend against Danestar, but Danestar's still looking for a way through, but can't do so. Trunder's ever so close to the back of Jonas, but Jonas has got that move done, and that's absolutely crucial, because if he'd have had to wait another lap longer, he'd have been involved with all the cars behind him, and he would have lost his advantage completely.
Yep. Liam 12 with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in a pit lane. A few other people are also in the pits. Speedway Racer has made a move on Liam, as I just saw the rain come down. Oh, yep, it's started to rain now.
Which is potentially good news for people like Jonas, who made
Speedway
those early
Racer
starts.
spun it. Oh, he's had a spinner. And so, okay, so was Konghoffer.
Yeah, synchronized spinning. So is Liam. What is going on?
Everyone's.
We've got MCSC out the race. Yeah, virtual safety car. Is the rain already playing havoc on the grip levels?
Wait a minute, where did he crash out? Is that him? That was him on the main straight. How did he crash there?
I'm not too sure. That's a bit of an odd one. Unless it was just coming out the final corner again.
I mean, that is possible, but surely it can't be... Well, I was going to say surely it can't be that slippery enough to where you're going to lose control on the final corner. That's not exactly easy to spin on.
Well, Josh and Okeke are in the pits.
But then... Oh, hello. That's changing things quite much.
Inters on Josh's car.
Are you sure?
And same for Okeke as well. They are taking that early gamble, and I'm guessing Ols is going to do the same.
I think Josh had done his front wing change there, because that was a little bit, that looked a little slow. DRS enabled. Are you sure?
Yeah,
is it really time for intermediates?
I suppose Josh could argue from his perspective, it helped him repair the damage, so there was less of a risk for him, maybe. But
true, but putting on the wrong tyres at the wrong time could be an even bigger risk.
Well, let's find out. I'm on board with Okeke. Just keep an eye on the gap between him and his teammate, who's of course on softs behind.
Yeah, and Josh has just been overtaken by his teammate.
And I think Okeke is about to have the same treatment. It's just not ready for intermediates yet.
It's not ready.
Mason making that move comfortably as well.
Obviously, Salty Bear has hit the wall at turn 2. And he's lost his front wing.
Liam into the pits for intermediates as well, but the track just isn't quite ready for them yet.
It's not ready.
May not be too many laps away though.
No, we're not far off, but it's not the time yet.
And then I think Yuri's about to overtake Okeke, and he is. Yes, another position lost there for Okeke. He'll be hoping the rain just continues to pour down. We're going to have a potential fight for P2, but Danestar wasn't quite close enough to Jonas into turn 1.
No, we'll give it maybe a few more corners and we'll see. But the rain is coming down heavier. You can see it hitting the track.
Well, we've got Trunders and Eastimats to AlphaTauri's line astern now. We saw Trunders defend against people a lot earlier, but you'd imagine he'd be a little bit more easy with his teammate, but no way through for Eastimats just yet.
No team orders at AlphaTauri, they just let him race.
Yeah, but you can't help feeling this is affecting Eastimats' race because he's lost time to those in front.
He is on the better tyres, but what I am noticing is people on the mediums are really starting to slip. It is getting slippery out there for people on medium tyres. Trunders is proof of that.
Oh, the track conditions, it's looking very close to Inters now, I have to say. I wonder if we're going to start to see those on Inters start to come back at those on dry tyres. I don't think we're too far away from that crossover period.
Nope. But let's see how Trunders and Mats takes 130 Oh, Trunders is going, and he's gone!
Out of the race, and could this be a safety car?
There's no way it couldn't be. See,
Yeah,
safety
it
car.
is a safety car.
So now it's time for the intermediates, and everyone in the top 5, yep, top 6, everyone's coming in for
Well, Andreas is coming for a set of softs.
Oh, are you sure?
That's utterly bizarre.
Are you sure that isn't a mistake?
Well, I wonder if the game's put him on softs. I wonder if that wasn't an intentional...
That's why I'm thinking it was a mistake by the game, but for the people who were on intermediates earlier, they were just a bit too early for them. And now they've lost out now they've lost their advantage.
Yeah, Okeke was in contention for a potential race win or podium, but I mean, look at it now. He's going to be behind so many cars that he shouldn't really have been fighting with. He just made that call too early, and he's now behind Apex Rogue, who wasn't really in that leader's fight. So, yeah, just pulling the gun a lap or two too early, and then kind of perfect timing, Trunder's accident, really, for those that were still out there on softs and needed the inters.
True, but how is Andreas dealing with these conditions?
Well, that was, of course, his first stop, so he would have had another stop to make regardless. I wonder if he'll be half tempted to just come straight into the pits again at the end of his lap. Because it's not really worth sticking it out there on softs if that rain's going to stick around, which it looks like it is. He isn't the only one as well. Mason Jr. has come into the pits, but he's also not been put on intermediates. He's on mediums. I mean, we saw what mediums are like when it gets slippery. I wouldn't be on them when it's wet, and that's exactly why. Because he's just gone straight round. That's out the second Degner, and that's not at all what he needed. I think he'll just try and crawl back to the pits, but I mean, it's bad enough being on softs when it's a wet track, but mediums will be even worse.
Anything lower than softs, you're dead.
Mason just wants to keep in a straight line to the pits now, but he's trundling around. He's going barely 100 miles an hour through a corner you wouldn't even recognise in the track conditions.
Here comes Andreas into the pits again.
Unless he's done that on purpose, just so that means he's got his 2 stops out of the way.
But
maybe
that wouldn't even make any sense.
He should come out in front of Yuri, so I mean, it's not.
If it's just to get to get his 2 stops up the way, that doesn't make any sense because you have to just use a different compound. It doesn't matter whether it's dry or it doesn't really matter if it's dry or wet. You just have to use a different compound of tire.
Oh, he's not in front of Y-Racer. I got that wrong. He's just behind him. P9's okay. Yeah, and as well, of course, if he'd have pitted for inters, he could have then sort of stuck it out and seen if there was another safety car later on, which would have made making his second stop even easier. So, yeah, not sure if that was the way to go. Mason Jr. is back in the pits, so yeah, it does almost get the impression that those two probably wanted intermediates, but either the game hasn't given them, or maybe didn't have time to select the intermediates. Because it was at that crossover period where you probably would have needed to select them to get the tyre you wanted.
That is true. Let's see. Speed Racer is on 3-second time penalty. Liam 12 is on a 3-second time penalty, and Fozzie Bear has 9 seconds to his name.
So we've got Jonas out in the lead. What'll be interesting now is to see...
Fozzie Bear picking up another 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, he's been having a lot of troubles. I think I've seen him go around a couple of times this race. Oh, and I just saw on board of him. Was he overtaking somebody? Well, it might be the safety car, to be fair. I know, he was just overtaking and lapping himself against the Williams, because he is now, I think, a lap or 2 down. It's Fozzie Bear. Yeah, he's a lap down, so...
Yep, Fozzie Bear's a lap down, and Salty Bear is an entire lap.
Yeah, if the safety car's waiting for everyone to catch up, it's going to be out for a few laps. So I think
safety car doesn't wait. Trust me, it doesn't wait.
I don't think Salty Bear's going to catch up in time. Best he can do is just try and minimise.
No, he will, but by the time he gets to the start-finish line, I think they'll just be coming to the hairpin of where he is now. So I think by the time he's actually... Because he has to be... everyone who isn't behind... Who's behind Liam 12 has to go full throttle. They have to be at race pace to catch up to the field. So, Salty Bear and Fozzie Bear, they need to get a move on.
Just a quick thing to mention as well. Every driver has now made their mandatory 2 stops, so nobody has to stop again, of course. And some drivers may end up needing front wing repairs or something like that, or even a change of tyres if it either dries up or gets wetter. Although I'd have to say right now it looks pretty bog standard intermediate conditions. But yeah, every driver doesn't need to stop again now, so it is pretty much a race to the flag for those throughout the field.
Yep.
And
my prediction came true.
I'll keep my eye on Josh because he's still running P7, which isn't too bad, and we saw how quick he was earlier on. And now that he's hopefully got that damage repaired, he could be one to look out for. He's just behind Okeke, who was another driver who just made the call for him to a lap or two too early. And of course, as well, we know certain setups don't interact as well in wet conditions. So, you know, we don't know. Maybe there's a few drivers out there who maybe were running setups that were more attuned to wet conditions. We might see certain drivers cope better in these conditions than others will.
Safety car should be in this lap, and Salty Bear is only coming up to the hairpin now.
Yeah, thankfully everyone else has caught up. Yeah, safety car just like Mason Jr. will join the back of a train. Salty Bear unfortunately just won't catch up in time, but I mean, he's a lot closer than what he was.
He might. No, okay, never mind. No, he won't catch up. Because you know how the game kind of just does its whole, like, its own thing of where you get to accelerate.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
And Jonas, honest with you, kind of didn't start napping a little bit there on that restart because he's a long way clear already.
He is, and who is that that's sweeping about? It's Keke, who's probably doing some warming up his tyres.
Well, I wonder as well, because he ran the intermediates when it was still dry, I wonder if there's even less temperature on his tyres than what there were in some of the others around him.
Maybe.
So
as far as I know, if you're running
temperature he can.
If you're running your tyres in the intermediates in the dry, that heats them up quite a lot. But
yeah,
one
I
thing
don't think his inserts will be in the best shape.
No. But something that's going to throw Ols off is Fozzie Bear's Ghost.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say at the moment, at least, the top two certainly look very good. Eastermats as well in third. Most of the pressure, what I can see, is coming from Gazaman downwards. They're the ones who look like they could be about to fight. Josh looking quite menacing behind Okeke.
There's already a pretty big gap between P10 and P11 already.
Yeah, not sure how that happened. And we've got a fight between teammates for P11 as well, because Liam is right behind Ols and looking like he wants to take that position. And to be honest with you, something needs to be done because the gap there is too huge. And if Liam has more pace, a sensible team thing here might be to let him through. And
Gazaman went pretty wide at 130R.
I thought it was going to be changing position between the Williams cars, but I thought Ols was letting him through, but clearly not. So maybe some interesting conversations between teammates there. As we come onto the main straight again, Okeke pretty close to Apex Rogue, but of course in these conditions no DRS, so makes overtaking that a little bit more tricky. And Liam has got past Ols now. I don't know if that was Ols led him through or if Liam got the position and he caught the end of it, but Liam up to 11th now, and his focus will be to try and claw that huge gap that's really opened up out of nowhere, because I didn't really see any obvious issues on that restart.
Not too many. Oh, hello, Speed Racer and Andres.
Oh, that's brave enough in the dry. In the wet, that's almost crazy. But Andreas has got the move done, because I believe that Y Racer was in front prior to that, so he's got the position. And oh, that's very wide.
Oh, and Andres has hit the wall again.
And he's lost his front wing, so all that hard work he just did overtaking Yuri has been absolutely thrown away. And it's a long way back to the pits without a front wing. He's got to be careful. There's no real reason for him to be getting in the way of other drivers without a front wing. So, you know, there was a bit of contact there between him and Liam, which, in all honesty, is a little bit unnecessary. It looks very much to me like this is a battle between the top two. They have just absolutely checked out ahead of a rest. Easty Mat's just a couple of seconds away, and then Gazaman as well, a little bit further back. These two, Jonas and Dainstar, look like they've got the wet conditions absolutely nailed on. But yeah, but these two going for the win at the moment. Can anyone really take the fight to them?
At the moment, Jonas is really just keeping the lead. He's just keeping the pace. He's not been under threat at all.
Andreas has recovered back to the pits. I think he'll be very frustrated when he looks back on this race, because there's no doubt we've seen it in qualifying and in the race at times. The pace is there, but just a few too many errors.
Together.
Yeah, if he can iron out those errors, there's no doubt in my mind he's a threat for race wins and podiums just on outright pace alone.
I mean, he almost did when it came into qualifying on the medium tyres. People couldn't beat him on the soft. People couldn't beat him on the soft tyres, but then track evolution happened, and then ended up P9.
Yeah, and he's only a tenth of a second off getting the fastest lap in this race, and that was set on mediums as well. So
yeah,
he's got a lot of pace. Just yeah, unfortunately, a race isn't won over one lap. Sadly, you've got to hook it up for the entirety of proceedings, and that's just something. Oh, and Liam 1-3 is out of the race.
Oh, he's put it in a wall. That could be a safety. It's a safety car. So now this brings Salty Bear definitely back into it.
Yeah, the two Alpines will be happy, although Fozzie Bear a lap down, so it won't help him as much. But it's real good for Liam 1-3. It's out the hairpin, so just struggled for traction. Oh, we've got some drive-through penalties for speeding under the safety car. Oh, and oh my goodness me, Fozzie Bear's just gone back into the back of one of the Aston Martins and is also out of the race. That's a bizarre collision. It looks like he's just hit the back of I don't know which Aston Martin he was behind.
Mason, because he's the only one that's on coming up to that 130R bit, because I was on Salty Bear, and he's just passed Andres.
Yeah, so
sorry, not Andres, sorry, Fozzie Bear.
So Fozzie Bear's gone into the back of Mason and out of Spoon, and that's his race done, so
I wonder if Mason has any rear end damage, any rear wing damage or diffuser damage. I wonder.
I'd be shocked if he doesn't now. That was a hefty hit from my angle. It was almost like
it was big enough to rip a wheel off Fozzie Bear's car. So
yeah,
I think that should say it. I think that says enough.
Absolutely.
So, people at the back have taken the decision to go for a set of new tyres. Only 3 people have taken that decision.
It's pretty much a no-brainer, really. You get fresh tyres, and obviously if you need it back anyway, you're not going to lose out on track position, so...
No,
yeah,
you have nothing to lose if you're at the back. But, Salty Bear almost just lost it all in turn 2. Nearly put it in the wall.
Well, Salty Bear is probably still worried about the gap to the safety car, and he's probably overdoing it a little bit in his attempts to catch up. I think he should be fine as long as he keeps it together.
If he keeps it together on track and actually goes and puts his head down, I think he'll just make it. But he's not really going to make it when he's doing a little bit of corner cuts and track limit warnings. That's not going to help him any favours.
No. In terms of penalties, we've got 4 drivers with 3-second penalties. That's Y-Racer, Con Hoffner, Liam, and Salty Bear have all got 3-second penalties. Mason has a drive-through, which I believe was for speeding under the safety car, which I believe Fozzie Bear also got. So
yes, it was. Fozzie Bear, I did see he had it, but he already kind of drove into the back of someone's car. So
yeah, you almost wonder if the drive-through penalties for speeding under the safety car and just maybe over-focusing on the telemetry of that.
Speed Racer's just dropped down to P12.
He has. Is he in the pits?
No, he Kind of went wide at the last corner.
No, he was in a strong position. And now he's behind Liam, who of course has pitted under the safety car, so he's behind someone who's on much fresher inters than he is.
True.
It looks a lot, I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like it's...
It looks wet enough for wet tyres.
I was literally just thinking, how far are we away from full wets here? Because this looks a lot wetter than it did a few laps ago.
If this was Gran Turismo, everyone would be on the wet tyres, I'm not even gonna lie.
Almost makes you wonder if any of the drivers near the back of the field are thinking, is it worth a risk? Is it worth a gamble?
Well,
Obviously,
it is getting wet. It is getting wetter, but we'll soon find out. You have played Gran Turismo 7, so you know what I'm talking about when I say that.
I unfortunately have not.
Okay, so people in the chat might know. So, Gran Turismo 7, great game. They've implemented a whole weather system compared to GT Sport to where the weather, you have a gauge on the instrument cluster where it tells you whether the track is dry enough or if it's recommended to where you go to intermediates or wets, but it varies if you're on the racing line. So,
wow.
Fuji Speedway, everyone should know that track.
Oh, topical. We are racing in Japan.
Yeah, so that track has the rain, and it does have the whole. The main straight, I think everyone should know the main straight on Fuji, anyways. If you go offline on that, off the racing line, the gauge will shoot up and you will have near to no grip if you're on the intermediate tyres. But enough about Gran Turismo. We're here on Formula 1 at Suzuka, and Dane Steyer, I think oh, there goes Jonas into the wall.
Oh no, that's the worst possible restart. Perhaps just overeager to try and get the jump on.
But wait, I think they have to let him through because they overtook him under yellow flag. They do.
Oh, what is going on here?
Ooh, ignoring yellow flag, exactly, knew it. But some people have taken the option to go for wet tyres.
Yep, we were saying it was looking close to, if not at that stage, and you've got Kong Hoffner, Y-Racer, Andreas Salty Bear all taking that gamble. And we've got side-by-side action as Easty Mats gets past Jonas. Jonas with the damage, of course, he can't do anything.
Oh no, Ols is out. Ols is in P10. He's had a spin.
Oh, and yeah, you can see there's some debris there as well. So there's something's come off the car. Gazzaman's taken full advantage of that, and he's up to second. By the way, he was fourth when we got back underway, so he's gained 2 places already. Thanks to just that carnage that was caused by everyone having to let Jonas through. As Easty Mats goes off the road at the hairpin. And he now loses out to Okeke, who's up to third. So, Okeke's had a great restart. We said he made the call to go into Inters too early, but he's really making the most of his restart. I think he's gone from about 6th or 7th all the way up to third. It's been a bit of a scruffy restart, but some drivers have really gained and others have really lost. But Daystar and Gazzaman are absolutely flying at the front. They are gone.
Oh, hello. Konghoffer has gotten past the Ols, and the wet runners are coming fast now.
What do these guys do? Do they try and keep it going on? If they're going to pit, they need to do it now, because stay out any longer and you're going to effectively, you're not going to get any advantage. They're
I'm
all
watching
staying out
quite a few. Nope, Jonas is in.
But that might be for his damage potentially as well.
I don't know. Does he have damage? Yeah, he does have damage, but he's also going on to the wet tyres.
Yeah, he's got to, I suppose. But everyone else has stayed out, so this is going to be interesting now.
Mason hasn't.
Oh, Mason. So Mason's taken the gamble as well. Of course, he's in front of Jonas now, is he? Yes.
Yeah.
Because Jonas, of course, had to repair his front wings. Mason now in front of Jonas after pitting. But yeah, Kong Hoffner's gained about a second already in about a sector. So,
out.
Is he going to run out of laps to catch up right to the front? Potentially, but he can definitely gain from where he was before. he's got to be the driver to keep an eye on here, you'd have to say, just because of his speed. But a Salty Bear is out. A Salty Bear is out of the race, and I think he was one of those on wet tyres. He was. And it's too late for a safety car, so we'll be going to the end from here. But yeah, even on wet tyres, these are treacherous conditions, and Salty Bear's just demonstrated that one.
Let's see, how far is... Okay, so Konghoffer is 14 seconds behind Danestar, but that gap is coming down.
Yeah, he's gaining hand over fist, and also Danestar looks like he may be struggling potentially against Gazzaman and even Okeke, who started to come back at the race leaders. I think the thing is, I think Konghoffer might be quick enough to get to the lead of a race, but it's how much time he loses overtaking all the cars in between him and the leader. That's going to be the key, I think.
That is true, but what I'm also looking at is okay, Speed Race has picked up another 3-second time penalty. What I'm looking at is how the gap is now 11.5 seconds. He has shaved off 4 seconds in the space of the first sector. Everyone on the wet tyres is coming. They should have made a pit stop. They should have made the pit stop sooner.
Konghoffer's right on the back of Apex Rogue. It's the first overtake he has to do, and he needs to get on with it. But Apex Rogue did not want to let that go easily, and this is a problem.
He's not going to let it go that quick.
No, and Apex Rogue's going to lose out to Yuri Y-Racer as well. Just on
and
traction
Andreas.
alone. And Andreas, they are all flying through, and potentially here Andreas is looking at an outstanding result, which is incredible when you think the amount of
after
adventures
everything that he's been
race.
through.
And then you've got the other added problem for the race leaders as well, is the fact that it looks like they're about to start fighting each other.
I think they've already been doing that.
And that's only going to cost them even more time. They are going to have to coast around this final lap. This is unbelievable. I couldn't call what's going to happen right now.
Josh has Liam 12 has overtaken Josh, but Josh is going to come back fighting, but not that much. The gap is now 7 seconds. They're only just a few corners behind.
Yeah, he can see now the race leaders. He'll be able to see them, but he's got so many cars in between him and the lead. This is going to be incredible, and it's the last lap of the race. Even though these Inters guys are struggling, they're not going to want to give this up at all. This is remarkably close.
Oh, who was that?
Josh is out
Josh is out.
the wall. Has lost it there. He very nearly collected Konghoffer in the process. That would have been devastating. Look how close this is.
This is really getting close now.
And they are struggling.
Who's that that's gone really wide? Is that Mats? It is Mats.
It is. Konghoffer's right there now. This is absolutely incredible stuff. Is he going to make a move into Spoon on Liam?
He's just hit him. But did he lose an end plate? I don't know. Has he got damage? None that I can see.
Liam's struggling for traction there. That's going to put him under huge threat. And then you've got Gazzaman right behind Daystar just for the lead in general. This is ridiculous.
They went too wide. Both of them have gone super wide there. Oh no, Liam has just put a massive dive bomb on...
Oh, and Konghoffer's gone round! He went into Easty Mats!
He put a massive dive bomb.
Oh,
but Speed Racer... Speed Racer just managed to overtake... who was it? Oh, who was it that he overtook? Oh, wait a minute. Konghoffer had a penalty. APX Rouge. Yeah. Who else has penalties?
I think Konghoffer Jonas got a penalty. I think Yuri Okeke had a 5-second penalty as well, which has dropped him from 3rd down to 6th. It was super close to the line for the lead as well. Wait.
Danestar 20
What?
20-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags.
Well, that's after he crossed the line. That's the race leader.
How is... Wait, that doesn't make sense.
Winner. No, that's got to be a glitch.
That has to be. That doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna go out on a whim here and say Danestar's the winner because
I'd still say that because he did not have an issue almost all race with penalties. So that doesn't make sense. That's not right.
And he beat Gazzaman to the line by less than 0.2 of a second. That was incredibly close.
Oh my god! I thought Carlos Sainz jumped on the podium there for a minute.
And of course, that's an Alpine in third. So I'm pretty certain that the final spot on the podium somehow, after everything, went to Andreas.
I'm still confused about that one.
Well, he'll be fourth, actually, yeah, of course.
He should still be fourth, because Danestar, out of nowhere, got what was it, a 20-second penalty for what we don't know?
20-second penalty for ignoring yellow flag after he'd already crossed the line and won. I don't think that's legit.
That's not right.
One bit.
Race director, what are you telling me? Yeah, 20 seconds for ignoring yellow flag. Where does that even come from, though?
Yeah, it was given after the race. It has to
you can't
Yeah.
get that after you've crossed the line already. That doesn't make sense.
So I'm happy to say here that Danestar, Gazzaman and Eastimats is your podium, with Andreas, even so, still coming fourth. I beggars me believe how. Liam from the back of a grid to fifth.
Salty Bear made 6 pit stops in that race.
Quite incredible, really. I mean, we had a lot of changes in conditions, but even so...
Yeah, and Andreas made 5. His last one was on the wets.
I believe, if I'm right in saying so, one thing I do remember, we do have to name a driver of the day, and I believe we have to give them a question to answer.
I'll
give you some time. I'll give you some time to think if you want. I think I've figured out mine. I'm going to say, just purely based on the amount of positions he gained from qualifying to the race, I'm just going to give it to Liam 12. And my question to him is, how did he recover from what looked like a very shaky and uncomfortable qualifying session? How did he translate that into such a good race?
That's fair. I would give it to Andreas I'd give it to Andreas for 3 main reasons. My first one is he did have a gamble on the medium tyres in qualifying, and I do believe that he would have gotten a lot higher up on the grid if he didn't crash out in qualifying. My second reason for that would be he had a pretty shaky first couple of laps, but he built his way up all the way to finish in the top 4. My question for him would be, how well was the setup on the car to where he was able to make it work for both the dry and wet conditions, as you've had quite an interesting circus of incidents such as spins and collisions throughout the entire race.
Okay. I mean, he definitely would have been one of the names that I would have considered for sure. I mean, I don't think you'll get many more eventful races than the one he had today, and to end up with such a good position is great. I think we have to say Danestar's the winner, despite what the game otherwise says. And I have to say that was an incredible climax to a race. I've never known it end up like that when you see the wet tire drivers coming back at the Inters in those final few laps, and it was so close. I mean, you go just one lap further forward, the result would have been completely different.
Very true. That is very true. It's a very interesting race that we've had here. But quite filled with quite a lot of tension and quite a lot of how would you describe it? Tension, excitement, quite a lot of thrills.
And I would say almost anticipation in terms of what is going to happen over the coming weeks as well.
That too. But we'll soon find out what happens later on in the season. This is only just the start, so I'm hoping that everyone tunes in for more exciting races like this. This is just the start of the season, so let's see what happens later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess on that we should wrap up the stream.
Yep. Ooh, my legs hurt. Thank you everyone who for let me actually speak English for once in my life. Thank you to everyone who tuned in for our session. It's been quite an exciting race, and I hope all of you enjoyed it. And we can't wait to see you for round 2 next week, same time. Mark it in your calendar because you will not want to miss it.